always do that. We're a little
Don't
early.
do it.
Jake
Oh,
is
is this
getting
part of the?
ready.
This is the blooper reel.
This is the blooper reel. So
Gary,
Jake is putting up the
my,
deck.
I'm not
Oops.
playing. Can you see it?
I'm going to put it on the screen. Add to stage. Here you go. So happy Friday, everyone. We're at the Mac, and Jake is getting ready to introduce our special guest. We want to make marketing better and make better marketing. And here we are. We were talking about the weather as Jake gets ready. Are you ready, Jake?
I'm so ready. I'm so ready because this meeting is. I didn't do a lot of planning for this. I just lived on social media for this. Because I came across this wonderful person who is not just. Oh wait, hold on. Roundhouse. We got Dan in the house. We got Melissa in the house. Michael Munson in the house. Hey, you know Jessica's here. You know Moni, and you know Jay. We're all here. The Marketing Accountability Council. Grab your drinks because I found Melissa, and I wanted to bring her into the fold. And I came across her through a natural, way of just seeing some sense being dropped on LinkedIn. And I just gonna drop this in. Wow, just strategies and tactics from a 100% human. And I said, flex on him, Melissa. And then this is what she said. And I don't know, Melissa, do you want to introduce yourself really fast and then read this in your voice? Because I was thinking that would be so freaking cool to hear.
I don't know that I want to do like a storytelling thing, but I'll introduce.
No, I'll read it. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, you read it.
So, Melissa, thank you for letting us do this. So I'm going to get to my hair. I'm going to say the thing the in-house marketers are afraid to say. And I'm like, I'm peeping around the tree like, uh-oh. The founders shouldn't be involved in every little detail of marketing. Uh-oh. And the marketing team shouldn't be required to get the founders' approval before every live. And I'm like, is this a diary entry? Is this real? Is she talking to him? Or image they don't like, even though it's totally sad. Campaign at the 11th hour because they changed their mind since they approved your pitch. And I love the spelling here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a surefire way to slow marketing process to a crawl, frustrate the team with red tape, and overcomplicate the marketing program with too many cooks in the kitchen. And already I'm just like stirring it up. I'm just like, well, she's stirring it up. And I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, oh man, the oven. Better approach. And so now you're like, oh God, this is where we get it. Because sometimes it's very easy to complain about things. But this is good. Get the founder's approval on a high-level strategy, positioning, offers, and channel of focus. Talk it through in detail so you can ensure everyone's aligned. Free up the founder to focus their efforts. That's felt good to say. On the broader scope of the business, which is where they should be spending time. Then sprint, get shit done, assess and refine, report back to the founder, rinse and repeat. And I was like, oh, let's talk. So I wanted Melissa to come on, and then I have 3 questions, but really quick. Jay, put Melissa on the screen, and let's meet this amazing person. And
Oh my God.
put you
You're
on
on the screen.
Wait, that makes someone amazing? Pointing
Y'all
that out makes someone
warned me
amazing?
that this was going to happen.
I'm sorry, but what you did is you put this out here, and I want to bring it out here and say, let's talk about it. So
You should own it, Melissa, because we've been talking about agency. That's what you're describing, right? And we're not talking about the agency where you outsource to people and they're half-assing it. We're talking about the agency that professionals should have when they go to work and when they show up, right? And as marketers, don't we need that and want that? This is your platform, Melissa.
go launch.
Oh. All right, my friends, where would you like me to start?
Where to come from?
Yeah. Tell us where you're from and how did you come to this insight?
I have been working in marketing for 14 years. I have had my own fractional business for about 2.5 years. Prior to that, I was in-house at startups or agencies servicing startups. So I have spent a lot of time working with founders, tech bros, the, the whole thing that a lot of us are probably familiar with. I started my career as a copywriter and then just sort of worked my way up very linearly. And so I think that has given me an interesting perspective because I've sat in just about every seat on the team that you can sit on, right? And now that I'm oftentimes working at more of like a VP or a CMO level, you obviously have a broader perspective of not just marketing, but how it's interacting with other departments, stakeholder alignment, things like that, right? I am also notorious for, frankly, having an opinion. I am often the person that will say the thing that other people are not going to say. And it got me into a lot of hot water while I was in-house for most of my career.
Me too.
What I've discovered since going out on my own is, one, the freedom to be able to say stuff like that on LinkedIn and not be penalized for it in the traditional sense is lovely. And now I have a hard time shutting up. But also what I find is that it attracts like-minded people that I do want to work with or do want to learn from, and it repels the people that it offends. And frankly, I think it's okay if it offends some people, right? So if you're a founder, you read that and you're like, bullshit, I want to be involved in every little detail of marketing.
Really?
I don't want to work with you. Right? So yes, I mean, I'm a little bit known for some of my hot takes. Love it or hate it, but that's where we're at now.
Love it. And one of the things we talk about, often is wanting to do the thing that is right or the thing, Moni, what is it? Is the right thing or what's the other thing? The thing that gets you paid?
It's doing the right thing versus doing the thing that they want. They want from you.
Yes.
And right.
Because they're paying us for our expertise and guidance, right? They're not paying us to be yes men.
And some yes men would
kind of. I'm about to say sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not that they're right, but they they survive, and they cling on, and so there's a case to be made there. But some people would say, and I've gotten this too, they're like, well, how are you just the way you are on LinkedIn? And I was like, well, I stopped, tending to caring about certain things. And I think it was that same vibe, Melissa. I'm really happy to hear you say that. It brings words to what I was thinking. It's just like, if it works for somebody, then that's good because those are the people. And if it doesn't, then they weren't the people anyway. And I guess you should be okay with that. And that feels so crazy to marketers because they want everybody to be. So, I mean, and doesn't the founder want everybody to be their friend? I mean, talk about dealing with this at the founder level, because if a lot of things are founder driven, a lot of things are founder led, well, of course they should have their finger in the pie and they should be talking about it. How do you handle a person who's how do you talk to these founders? Is that different?
I think, it's going to be different for each founder, right? People receive information differently. Sometimes you have to soften your approach or really think through how you're going to word it. But there's no world where you can successfully scale a startup and stay involved in every tiny component of the business. That is not where the founder should be spending their time. And if they are spending their time there, another part of the business is probably suffering. I liken it to a boat. So we're all on the same boat. We need to make sure everyone's rowing the same direction, right? And so the founder is absolutely entitled and should be doing that. That does not mean that the founder is going to go around and check every individual oar, right?
But then they'll say the devil's in the details. I'm sorry, it's Oar Tuesday. I need to check out the oars. I'm sorry, can I just see the oar?
And that's fine. So, I mean, and I'm going to be clear, there are some people that you will never talk out of this, right? And I also think it's important to know that. There are clients where I have a quarter or two in been like, I'm sorry, I don't know that it's a fit or that I can really help you effectively. I don't know that our time together is serving you or me, right? So I don't have some sort of formula that is going to get you 100% success rate here either. And I think it's important to just say that out loud. The people that are interested sincerely on growing their organization and doing the hard things they need to do that will realize that they don't know everything. There's a reason why they hire experts, right? They really cannot be involved in every aspect of the business as it grows, and those are going to be the people who you say, okay, what do I need to make you feel comfortable about this? They probably need to be over communicated to. Make sure we're sending those reports. Let them know status updates before they ask for it, right? Hey, just wanted to follow up and say this thing we tested, here's how it performed. All of those are the things that can make somebody feel informed and included without them meddling, right? So inform them, but try not to involve them in every single component of marketing. She's a menace. Me or the dog? Both.
Oh,
No, I love the dog. I love it. I was excited. My
she's
dog
like, it's time.
Side chat, side chat.
But
It's a
also,
side
I
chat.
was like, I've been called worse, Jessica.
It's like a
You know,
ghost.
So I think that's something that, again, in-house, it was a lot harder. And I think these conversations are easier to navigate as a fractional leader because they are looking to me differently, right? It's seen much more as a partnership than a hierarchy. And so I've had really transparent conversation where I've said, I know it makes you wildly uncomfortable to not be involved in marketing. To not see everything before it goes out the door. What do we need to do to make you feel more comfortable with the idea, right? And sometimes I don't even get that yes. Sometimes I'm like, can we try it? Let's try it for a couple of weeks. Let's see if there's a meltdown. Let's see if something catastrophic happens on the internet, right? It's a process more than something where you typically get buy-in and someone's like, great, do it. I don't need to be involved at all, right? That rarely happens. And so that's why I say, I really tailor that conversation for each founder, and sometimes the solution looks different. I don't know that there is just, here's my framework, and that works for everybody.
Melissa, I have a question. So I'm Jay, founder of the Mac.
I have seen you around, Jay. I know of you.
Hello.
You know that? Oh, thank you. I have a question. I've written articles, as I often do, way too often. At least I'm self-aware. That if you're a fractional, you don't. If you're a marketer, you don't have the seat at the table. You're. It's like the little kids' table at Thanksgiving. So if you're a fractional marketer, do you even have less of a seat at the table? And like you're different than a lot of fractionals that I seem to have encountered. But I've encountered fractionals that don't have the savvy, and people are looking at them and they say, "Oh, we need to check the marketing box, and let's just bring someone on. We'll let them in for a quarter of the time, even though the responsibility takes more than a full-time job. We won't pay them as much, and just we'll see what happens." How do you feel about that?
Sad just hearing you say that, but also a little surprised. I guess I haven't had that experience largely. Yes, I agree. Oftentimes marketing is not given a seat at the table or an equal seat, right? The C-suite is in there. It's like the CMO is sitting in a toddler chair.
Yes.
And I know that's the experience for a lot of people. I think, again, I feel like I get a different level of respect actually coming in as a fractional because I'm not their employee, right? I am a thought leader, a strategist, a consultant that they brought in to help the organization grow. And so there is that sort of that consultative component. I am also usually working with pretty early stage startups. There's often not a CMO in place. So when I'm getting in there, nothing exists, right? I'm like, where's your go-to-market? They're like, we don't know. What's your positioning? We don't know. Right? We're crafting that. We're having those conversations together. And so I think it enables me to build some trust early on, but also I really have to be heavily embedded with the team and having a lot of conversations to get that done, right? I'm going to have to go have conversations with product and UX. I'm going to have to meet your marketing resources. We're going to have conversations about budget. And so I am pretty heavily embedded with a lot of my clients, and I am oftentimes working lockstep with the founder or the CEO. And maybe that's an anomaly. I feel like I've been really lucky to have that experience because I have had a lot of great experiences since I've gone fractional.
Maybe it's your skill. Maybe the whole thing we just talked about you, owning your point of view and being not timid on LinkedIn and sharing it. Maybe your reputation precedes you.
I would hope so. The reality, I say this often, but half of marketing is therapy, especially at the leadership level, right? Strategies, production, campaigns, all of that stuff is easy. The hard part is the buy-in, this stakeholder alignment, that skeptic in the room that is like, SEO is just magic. You're just waving a right. There's always going to be those people. And if you can get those people, even if they're not bought in, at least giving you the breathing room to let you do your job effectively, then you can typically prove the value of marketing, right? And so I think the relationship component, I have spent a lot more time honing the past few years than actually the technical work of what I do. And I think that piece is really important. I also think my prior experience probably feeds into that. I worked in fintech a lot. It is predominantly male. I spent 5 years at a company where we regularly had leadership meetings and I was like the only woman in the room. The fintech I worked at for 5 years, I was female number 5 when I joined. So, but you have to be heard. And it's tough in those environments. And so I think I did learn to be more assertive and more blunt. I think I put a little bit of polish on it since I've gone fractional. But I do think you have to speak up. And there is a point where if you're being respectful, you just have to go in and have the confidence that you're not trying to hurt someone's feelings or piss them off. Like, you hired me to help you be successful. Here's what I'm recommending.
You're talking about radical candor, which is something we all believe in here. But the one other thing that I'll just lean into is I have a client that's called Leadership Capital Group. They're a recruiter, executive recruiter. And the slogan we're playing with is what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah, Marshall Goldsmith.
Oh, and now it's attributed to Marshall Goldsmith. Well, I didn't know that. But
he has a book by that title. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it. Like it's like you could know all the tactics and how to do SEO and how to do a positioning strategy, and but doing it isn't the best use of your time. And even if you did do it, there's probably someone younger and more experienced in that might be better at it, and your role has shifted to influence and making clearing the way for something bigger, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So other people that have like client relationships with founders, or I want to hear from other people in the call. Like, I mean, this engagement with person, it's an information gap, is it? Or you said it's therapy, and but I think it's small p politics too, and there's the word upward. Like you've heard that, like you got to go upward, you got to train upward, like help them think, and it's so the air is rarefied up there, so you have to like whatever dumb it down or like speak their language or something. It feels like we're adopting a lot of ways to deal with our which is nice. But I just wanted to hear from other people. How do you adapt the way you talk? Are you approaching it as therapy, or because I'm kind of wondering how I do it, because sometimes I think Melissa's walking into the room and I think I show up to say, look what I found. And that's not compelling. And it's probably burned me a lot, but I'm here telling you this now. But I want to hear from y'all, like, you have deals. Are you thinking therapy? Are you thinking politics? Are you thinking like, how do you engage with them? How do you get that knowledge gap? Is it upward? Is it downward? Is it lateral? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are we approaching it, Moni? Because I know that you have clients and you've approached it in maybe a different way, more in an educational, like you've been more strict with the way you've been thinking, but you said therapy before, haven't you? Or you said
yes. Well, for sure, this part therapy, no doubt. And I'd love to get your take on this too, Melissa, because my approach, I'm coming into most organizations with the guys that they actually don't understand marketing fundamentally. and they're making decisions based off their misguided understanding. So it's like every dollar needs to be tied to revenue and lead gen and demand gen, and like that's not actually how this works. So I'm automatically coming in with, okay, I have to kind of right set here so they can get the results they're seeking, because if they go down this road, they're going to continue with frustration. Do you have some of that? How does your approach kind of go with, man, they're not even in the right path here to get what they want to get?
Yes, I oftentimes think those organizations are easier to work with. In my experience, if somebody knows a little bit about marketing or thinks they do, right, it's harder to sort of send them in the right direction because they've already got opinions or ideas.
You just attacked me. I just have a knife. You just shoved it in my back, Melissa.
And then there's the people that don't know a damn thing, but like they know that, right? Right? And so I think they're a lot more inclined to look at you like an expert. The level setting part can be hard because again, those are a lot of talks where you're giving feedback, and oftentimes feedback people don't like to hear, right? You're doing this completely wrong, or you're setting money on fire, or they're like, we tried that and it didn't work, and you're like, no, that's not, putting a meme online once a month is not a content strategy. That's not a safe.
Oh, I gotta write that down. Are you sure?
Right.
No, but you said something and alighted on something really interesting is in-house. Your post was about in-house, and we're talking about advis consultating.
Yeah, because oftentimes when I come in to help these organizations, it is a situation. I had a client last year. This is a real client. Social media posts every day of the week, 2 newsletters, a podcast, an email sort of digest that would go out every week. And the founder was checking every single asset, every piece of copy, every graphic, everything before it went out every week. And also asked me how many leads they were getting from all that.
2.
Right? No. And she's like, I'm really tired of babysitting my employees. They're not performing up to par. The marketing isn't performing up to par, right? I'm going to bring you in. You're going to fix it all. Well, one, this is someone who has 0 marketing background, who is then approving or guiding the marketing. So that's not going anywhere. The gal who was doing a lot of the content was frankly awful at it, eager, but awful. Right. And so, you start going down the dialogue and, maybe I can upskill this person. She had been hired to do bookkeeping. And then they were like, do our social media. Right. And so this is a company where they're like, our marketing is not working for us. Well, of course not.
So where do you start there, Melissa? Because there's a lot of things. And I think one of my struggles is I probably start too high level with, you're doing all this to get leads. You're thinking that content is the way to get leads. And I'm like, that's not the way. And they're like, that's what we've been taught for 20 years. What are you talking about? That's all I know. Yeah. So like, what's your approach in that scenario? Where do you start?
That was twofold. One, again, it was some transparent conversations with the founder, who I will say is an executive coaching firm. So she knows how to give feedback. She knows how to take feedback. You can have a pretty transparent conversation, right? And I just said, while you've been putting forth your best efforts, some of the direction we've been going with the marketing is probably not serving us. And here's why. And here's what I would recommend instead, right? Why don't you let me take the lead here? So there were multiple conversations with the founder in that vein. The other component is, okay, we've pulled in individual contributors as resources to support this program. They have 0 marketing prowess. So if you feel that these people are underperforming, and I did actually say this to her, if you feel that these people are underperforming, that is technically on this organization. We want them to succeed as marketers. We need to give them the training and the resources to succeed as marketers, right? And so we actually did an entire series of trainings. I was like, we're carving out time every week for training. Let's talk about copywriting best practices. Let's talk about a lead. Let's talk about graphic design, right? What makes a good social media graphic? And so on, and so on, and so on. The team can't be expected to support you effectively if you don't show up for them, right? And I mean, this is leadership. This has nothing to do with marketing. If your people are underperforming as a leader, you need to look at yourself first. Have you provided the resources and the clarity and the expectations for them to do their jobs effectively? And if not, all of that is on you.
So solid. With the most important thing you said wasn't all those great word terms like content audit and all that stuff. Be. And I'm pretty sure that word means so much more to somebody. More than any of your flashy freaking buttons. You just said the word be. We need to get the team. We as a business need to. They're thank you. Oh my God. Because one of the things I said in your comments was, if you are a cost, if you can tell what it is, then they're going to different. But if you're a cost, it's truly a cost. And so if you're talking about things that cost money, oh, I don't even hear it. Hey, I have an idea for us. You know, do these, build up the value, rather than saying we need to do this, we need to, or I need to, or you. It's we should, and I think that just slapped me across my face. I don't know. I mean,
So, do you guys know who Ross Simmons is?
yes,
Yeah, Foundation.
yes.
So I used to work for Ross. And day one, Ross was like, let me tell you how we talk with prospects. So we doesn't start when the client hires you. We starts like that first call, that first meeting. And he uses language for everything. So even if it's a discovery call, right? He's done a little bit of research beforehand. He's getting in there. He's going to meet somebody. He wants this big SaaS contract for his agency. And right out of the gate, it's we. We're on the same team. You know, we're doing X, Y, Z on the website. Here's what we could do differently. Have we thought about everything is we language? And that was one of the most powerful things that I learned from him. Ross, if you come across this, thank you. And I stole it and I use it. I use it every day.
But you know what? Teachers use it. Anybody who's working with a group, anyone who's been on stage, anybody who's in front of a crowd, if you use we,
Yeah.
it's going to go nuts.
But think about the nuance of it though, too, because it also changes the idea that we're working against each other, or I'm critiquing you, or you did this wrong, right? Then even something that is a little more awkward or is a feedback conversation feels less judgmental. It's we're in this together, and it's that constant reminder that we're on the same team. It's never me versus you.
Okay, so and then does anybody have anything to add? Because I wrote down a couple things, because people are in a ship and then launch era. I think.
Yeah, I have something to add. Sorry to interrupt. Melissa, do you watch Nathan Fielder?
Oh.
No, I mean the rehearsal.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you know, there's this whole thing where like people are afraid to speak. So much so, like when piloting a plane, there's the pilot and the co-pilot. And the co-pilot, a lot of plane crashes happen because the co-pilot doesn't know the pilot very well. And even though they both have the same rights, they often don't question the pilot, and the plane crashes. I mean, isn't that what's happening in a lot of our companies too, where it's just like there are people that have information and knowledge, but they're just a little scared to say it. Obviously, you're not. Obviously, the people on this call aren't. I mean, I know every one of you would say it says the stuff that needs to be said. You've proved that to me, Melissa. But I know from years and months, and it's been years with every one of you on this call. But what do you think about that idea?
Yes, I agree with you. I also think, again, I mean, that's why I wrote that post in advocating for the in-house marketer, right? Because a lot of these situations were stickier when I was in-house. The power dynamic is different. And there is a different consequence. You do feel like if something goes horribly awry, your job is at stake. And there are a lot of times, especially in marketing, where, yeah, I mean, who hasn't sat in a room and been like, this is the most bonehead campaign idea, right? You know, but your CMO came up with it. You're like, this is not going to perform, but like, okay, here we go, right? Or someone starts out with a brilliant creative idea, and then the founder adds their 2 cents, and somebody else adds their 2 cents, and the PR person adds their 2 cents, and legal's like, nope, dial down the fun, you know? And then by the end of it, you're like, this is a little piece of poop we're just going to put out into the world. Like, it's not what you started with, you know? And so I think it's substantially harder when you're working in-house. And I think we need to give in-house marketers space and grace for that, because I know people get a lot of criticism, like, go in, advocate for creativity every day. It's okay if it's not tied to revenue. And it's like, you still have to be able to make a goddamn business case for everything that you do. And that's just the system. Like it or not, you need to find a way to work within it, right? So you can keep your job. I think being fractional, the stakes are different, right? I do think they're looking at me as more of a partner and more of a fellow leader. And yeah, I also think the consequences are not the same. I mean, even if I lose a client, I'm losing, 10, 12% of my income. I'm not losing 100% of it, and there are different conversations had up front. I mean, I have very transparent conversations with clients about, this is what it's like to work with me. And here's what I do for you. Here's the scope of my job. Do you like that? Do you hate that? What do you expect? Have you worked with a fractional before? What are you expecting, right? And so all of that transparent stuff is oftentimes addressed real early, and that makes the entire dynamic that follows different, and I do tell them, I mean, in my marketing materials, I say I own and advocate for the marketing program. So, like, yes, I'm there. Nice. I'm working in lockstep with the CEO, but I'm advocating for the marketing program, right? Means in every call I'm in, it doesn't matter what other departments are in there. That is my job, and you should expect that of me. There are no surprises.
Yes. Well, but setting those expectations is key. But I'm thinking in those moments, because you're right, there is a lot of stuff that's like, ooh, this could be better, tighter copy, that creative sucks. Oh my God, why are we doing this? And then I was talking about the ship and then launch era. You're like, I love that you just shipped it already. And you're like, so let's do a launch. And you're like, no. But Jessica, we haven't heard from you. I know that you have come across some like campaigns that are great, speak up for them, things that aren't so great. How are you addressing that with tact, or do you just kind of go in there? I want to know. I just want to hear what Jessica has to say, because you do have feedback. I just wonder how do you package it up?
I mean, I agree with the group mentality. I think it's one of the best ways to lead is getting rid of your ego, right? It's the psychology about it. Like, this is not, this isn't me. This is my idea. And that's not a reflection of if I'm a good person or not, right? I think that people get very tied up in what it means to have an idea and what it means to critique it. I welcome criticism. I think it's the way we grow. And I think that it's a philosophy that I wish more people adopted. And I think that healthy organizations leave ego or at the door, try to, kill it. It's not even kill it. It's just see it, right? And go, it's okay, baby. You're going to be okay. But I'm going to do this for us. It's going to be okay. Because I think that ego does that in both sides of the table. It's the co-pilot and the pilot are both working against their egos, right? And that's how the plane can crash. So I personally believe that, and I think that, entering into a new corporate situation, you have to be very clear. It's like that radical candor. There's a book on that. How it's basically saying that, like, trust and clear intentions lead to like success. So that's my take. Yeah.
Something I thought about while Jessica was talking too is, like, not everything needs to be a statement, right? So oftentimes flipping it and turning it into a question helps somebody else get there or get to closer to where you want them to be, right? So it's not so much like, hey, I don't love this campaign idea. Just flip it around and be like, okay, like, I see where you're going with that. Tell me more about how you think this would resonate with our ideal customer.
And as a creative, I know your type.
Right? Like, what kind of messaging, and pull it out of them, because that forces them to think through it. And then oftentimes they're the person that goes, oh, that doesn't quite work. Let me tweak it. Right. Or like, oh, and so it can be a dialogue. Like, it's not like people pay me and I show up in a room and I'm like, here's what we're going to do. Right. Like it should be a dialogue. There should be some volley there. And that's also how you educate people about marketing.
I love the words did you say volley?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. But I love the words that we're talking about, the way we're describing our behaviors. But one thing that Jessica said, like very early in what you were saying, I was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to make this about the business or the program. I'm going to make this about the marketing program. I'm going to say we, because a lot of this is, I don't want to put on a monkey suit and jump around to your tune, because a lot of us are like radicals and we were like, burn down the system, and then we're like, you need a job, and you're like, okay, don't burn all of it down. We need some of it. And then you're like, destroy capitalism. Well, not all of capitalism. We have to live in this world and be radical. But I'm saying, like, when you sort of subsume your ego on behalf of the machine, what I think are you doing it for? And what Jessica was saying made me think, I'm going to make this about the business or the program, not to benefit the business, not to your benefit. I'm not going to bring ego for your benefit. I'm going to do it to protect my focus. And I think if I don't bring my ego to this, I'm going to be focused in on this thing. So I'm not saying we to do this little dance like a peanut monkey, and then like, because I've heard it. I've been approached like this. They put a coin in. They want a dance. I've seen it. And sometimes I dance a little. And I'm just like, I hate this. But I like, you got to do this to protect yourself. And does that land for anybody, or did I just say something out of whack? Or
do you mean from getting hurt with the criticism?
Or just having my ego involved, at all? It's like, why do you subsume your ego? Is it on behalf of the business, or is it on behalf of something that's good for you? And then I'm saying, like, I'll be damned if I get rid of my ego for this flip-flop, all-bird wearing vest motherfucker. But then starfish throw you back in the ocean, please. But, and then you're saying, well, what do you do it for? And you're like, it's actually to your benefit to talk like we, and you're not bullshitting them. I just think a lot of us don't want to bullshit motherfuckers. That's my whole thing. Like, I got into marketing, but I don't want to get into bullshit. So why am I saying we? Is it because I really believe that me and you are a team? Like, no, it's going to keep. I think that kind of helps me in a way. Maybe it is some mental Teflon I'm putting on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why are we letting the CEO off the hook so easily?
Tap. Mike, what do you mean?
I mean,
yeah, say more.
This is basically incompetent management. I mean, you can't.
He has a coach.
Can't run an organization.
She has done this leader person has done work.
What's that?
They're saging the office. You don't know what kind of work they're doing. Anyway,
they brought in Melissa to sage the office.
Thank Christ they brought Melissa in. Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
You can't be successful as a manager unless you delegate. You can't be successful as an organization unless you set objectives and standards of performance or benchmarks for people to meet, and you empower them to do their job. And if they can't do their job, you get rid of them.
Yeah. I'll add to Michael's point before you answer. I also add, does it feel, is it our interpretation, does it feel like the CEO has more to say about marketing than any other department, or is that just our perception of it? They put their hands in every other pot too as well.
Ooh, I don't know.
I think you nailed it, girl.
It's just like everybody has something to say about marketing. It's just like, you don't do this to finance.
No.
Like, you're not in this, like, you listen to whatever they say. Us, you challenge everything we say. It's like, what is
no one's going to go say to the CFO or the controller or whatever, and
HR,
open up your spreadsheet, and I want to see
Yeah. Tell me he calculated that. Tell me every place she got there and justify this to me.
I got a post on this exact topic, you guys. If you go back a couple weeks, I talked about this one too.
We'll continue to share. I mean, it's just nice to know that these conversations are happening out there. We're joined in. I don't know. Well, so let's maybe land the plane. I have so I'm saying, what does true market accountability look like when founders are both the stakeholder and the bottleneck? That's the one question.
Oh God,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So uncork that. No, and this is an open discussion. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, none of this happens without them. But it doesn't all have to pass through them. And some people understand this and they're much healthier. I think eventually every CEO or every leadership function that is doing this micro managing kind of like little sort of like chess piece moving kind of thing, like they're playing Stratego or something like that. Like if they're going to have some kind of health pulmonary crisis that they're going to have to hit the skids and say, I need to slow down. I can't work as hard. And so that moment's coming for all these people. So if those people want to reduce their heart attack rate, like I think like it should be a clarion call to everybody, reduce your stress, bring your inflammation down. Because if you think that your micromanaging is going to help, it's going to give you a hemorrhage. And it's not going to be the number going up. It's going to be you going outside in an ambulance. I really actually do think that there's something there, because you will drive yourself insane trying to think of, I can spin plates, and I also know about plate spinning, and I know about plates, and I know typical force, and then just actually let me hold all those, and then it's just like they are all headed for some kind of brick wall.
Jess, you were going to say something.
Burnout. Okay, sorry.
I think that, and I'm curious to hear what Melissa has to say, but it's really the job of this consultant to effectively communicate what it will take to actually cure the patient, right? Because the medicine is not you have to purge, right? And in order to get the outcome or cure the disease, which is literally, I mean, not the person, but the way that the organization is interacting, you have to convince them to hold on long enough and trust this process so that some things can start to change. That's what I believe. And so it's really, can you trust that the CEO is actually ready to unclench?
For real.
Yes, right. I think that's why it's important to talk about expectations, scope, communications. What are we hoping to accomplish here early on? There are a lot of people that will hire someone just so they feel like they're fixing it, right? I understand like, right? But if you just keep doing business as usual, nothing's going to change. And it's important to discern between those people and the people who maybe aren't running the business effectively or components of the business, but are eager to do better and instill change in their organizations. And those are the ones that are better to work with. To Michael's point, why are we letting the CEO off the hook? Like, no, but I can't fix every damn thing about a dysfunctional CEO, right? Like, I'm not like, I got
you, Melissa.
I got to clean up your whole marketing program and your team and your lead gen and, what shenanigans is online, that whole thing. Right. But a lot of those conversations will lead people to a place where they go, oh, I need to sort of change my routine or my communication style or whatever it is.
But you also, like you were saying, you have the opportunity to vet people and find out what kind of managers they are. And if you determine
we all want to work with a humble leader, right? Like, if anyone who thinks they're the smartest person in the room, like, I don't want to be in a room with you. You're like, I'm great at what I do. There's a lot of other things where like, I'm like, I don't know a damn thing about that. I'm going to reserve judgment. I don't have an opinion there. And I'm okay saying that. It doesn't mean I'm an idiot, but it's important to understand that. It's just like everything else. Like, are they really ready to make meaningful change? To Jessica's point, are they really ready to let go? Can they trust somebody else to run that component of the business, right? Or at least weigh in heavily on that component of the business. And some of that is going to come down to character and their own personal values and their communication style and whether they're really intent on that business succeeding or not. There are also a lot of people that just like to play business. They like the idea of being a founder.
That's a big one.
No one ever got fired for hiring McKinsey, right?
Yeah.
Well, you get involved with some lawsuits. I mean, if you're selling like,
or maybe you can get fired now.
So Melissa, like, what's the biggest corrective kind of thing that you see most common? Is it just a misunderstanding of marketing? Is it just they're doing too much, need the right set? They have the right idea, but they're just executing it wrong. Like, what's the biggest issue that you see when you go into these organizations?
If I had to distill it really simply, because I work with a lot of very early stage startups and especially SaaS, it is we're agile, which translates to we have zero strategy. We're just throwing shit at the wall. And more likely than not, it's just a state of chaos.
Dan is nodding. Wait, Dan. Wait, Dan. We haven't heard from Dan.
The company founders had any experience before? Are they young? Are they
I've actually worked with multi-time founders that are still doing we're agile on like the third company. You know? Again, that's why I go like some of it is going to come down to this person's personality, right? There are components of people that are not going to change. And I'm not even.
Is that how they got their? Is that how they got their investment support? They said they're agile.
This is a funny nuance. A lot of people don't talk about this. So everyone is like, oh, VC backed, it's a nightmare. You have the board, you have the shareholders. The thing about a board is the founder or the CEO is held accountable to somebody other than themselves. And that inherently is a lot more functional than I've built this business, I've bootstrapped, this is my baby, whatever, and I don't have to answer to anybody but me. Because if they don't have people that are giving them the hard talks and the hard feedback, they are just going to be showing up, creating a lot of shenanigans, right? And perpetuating that.
So wait, Dan, talk off on the third rail topic uncovered.
Can't hear you. I'm sorry. Do you guys hear him real well or not?
It's hard to hear, but
yeah,
what do you say, Dan?
Oh, it's you.
With the microphone, something with the mic, I think, or maybe
so.
it's on my side.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear. Well, probably bad connection here. Anyway, I was just gonna make a statement about agile. I mean, I've seen all kinds of methodologies in 25 years, but I tell you this much: agile is probably. I mean, it's a good idea when it's done well. I've almost never seen it done well. Basically, it's a crutch, right? So basically what it means is that, okay, well, there's going to be no accountability. We'll just change shit around anytime we want because we're agile. Agile means that you plan ahead first, and then you break it down in those small compartments, and then you follow that, and then you can move them around. That's a change management tool. It's not that you just do whatever the hell you want to do and then hope that smoke opium, and then that's how it usually plays out. And I've seen it in big corporations.
That's like a project management methodology versus what founders say when they want VC funding.
Yeah. And it's also a get out of jail card too, It's kind of, okay, well, you know what? For this quarter, we're just gonna, excuse my French, fuck around, and then Christmas gonna come in, and then nothing's gonna happen, and then you know what? Next quarter, we're just gonna reset.
Dan! We unleashed Dan right at the end.
Oh, he's just getting started. Wait.
That's so good, though. Another metric that came from something else that we're applying to something else that it shouldn't be applied to. ROI came from manufacturing. Probably shouldn't be applied to advertising and creativity. This shit is over here. Oh, it shouldn't be there. Oh, isn't this interesting? Why do we keep doing this? And then, But I like that we're talking on the Titanic rather than being like, iceberg! We're going.
Yeah. Legion is a sales model. Like that. Yeah. Like Serious Decisions got that from a sales model. That's not marketing whatsoever. All this stuff is not.
so
you guys
many.
probably have noticed that it's also seasonal, right? Because everything changes before you close the last quarter. Because
Every
then you
time.
burn through the budget, and then you know what? We'll take on any amount of work, reasonable, not reasonable. Who cares? Because we're closing down the quarter. As long as we burn through the budget and get the new one for the next year, we're golden. And then we
Exactly.
start again. Then we'd be agile again for a couple of quarters, and then again more responsibility. That's basically what happens.
Oh man, just we're laying truth bombs left and right. I hope you.
I got nothing to lose.
I know, but I appreciate that. It's actually the truth. Everybody's nodding. Well, so anyway, I think to land the plane, I just want to thank Dan, Melissa, Jessica, Michael, Moni, Jay for this conversation. I think this was so fantastic. And it all came from one post on LinkedIn from an honest marketer who was over it, but in a nice, respectful way. I think that's the best thing. I mean, Melissa, like, if you walk in looking like some Swiss Army knife and you're not afraid of these boardroom decisions, like, boy, people better get hip to it. Follow her. Let's support each other. Let's continue building this thing. I just get with it. So, Melissa, any parting words? Okay, imagine you have a crumpled marketer and they're at a train station and they're crying. And they're like, my marketing isn't working. What is your one piece of advice to this person?
Oh, that's too big of an ask, Jake. I don't know. You DM me and I will give you a pep talk. You come on board.
Are you going to tell this crying person that it depends? You are?
It depends. It's perfect.
So you know what I'm realizing? What we should do for our guests every week that we have a guest. You need to give a shout out. Where can we find you, Melissa? It's like I'm acting like the DJs on the radio.
Exactly.
I actually am most active on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is my #1 pipeline for my business. I am there every weekday. I nerd out. I like to have conversations. Slide into my DMs. You can absolutely find me on LinkedIn. New website is up, organicgtm.com.
Organic.
Check it out. I built it myself, so be gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna red flag team it. What do we do? I'm into IT stuff.
My HTML skills are pretty solid, but I would not call myself a dev.
Hey, you're in it. You're in the sandbox. And Dan, are you on LinkedIn? Where can we hang out with you?
Yeah, mute.
I'm on LinkedIn. I think I've been liking your stuff too on LinkedIn.
My man.
Yeah,
we're out here.
I'm gonna do a humble brag for Dan. I mean, Dan has really come out with some really provocative posts, and they're starting to hit right now. So I encourage you all to read what Dan has to say and comment because you're getting traction from all over the world, right, Dan?
On one post, I mean.
Oh, whatever. Good start.
It counts.
Yeah. But it has nothing to do with marketing. I mean, it has nothing to do with what I do either. I mean.
Well, it's commentary on the moment because the big sleeping elephant that we didn't address, which is a gorilla in the cave of the bears, was AI in all of this.
Oh, we made it the whole hour, Jake.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, man. We were there.
It was such a nice reprieve.
Let me get it in. Crypto, metaverse, NFT, omni-channel.
Web3.
Oh God, what else?
Blockchain.
Thank you, blockchain.
DeFi.
Yes. Oh darn, it's over. Okay. All right.
I think Jake's out of words. I hope you all have a happy weekend. Enjoy. It's summer.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you, Melissa. Thank
See
you,
you all
Dan.
soon.
Nice to meet you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lovely.
We'll do it again.
Yeah. Do you guys do this regularly?
Every week.
Every Friday.
We'll get you on the list.
Oh, I'm so here to just nerd out. Especially if I'm not the one